So we saw in Judaism first, because it really is the first sort of monotheistic religion that became connected to this whole Abrahamic tradition, is that it tried to espouse a different kind of religion in which there was a sort of overall justice to the world, where there was an idea that God was good, and even if you couldn't understand or see all of God's goodness or comprehend it, that you were correct to be guided by that God. And it wasn't just a matter of sucking up to capricious things in power. It was a matter of understanding that there is some higher justice out there, even if we can't understand it all ourselves. And I think that Christianity and Islam very much followed up on this tradition in a lot of ways. And I don't think it's a coincidence that, in the more modern world, as we've gotten to a place where we formed more representative and democratic governments, we've tried to form a world in which certain individual rights are protected, that the leading religions of the world have been these monotheistic religions that emphasize this idea of fairness and justice. And I also think that one thing that's happened is the sort of rise again of all of these comic book and superhero stories really, in my mind, started in the 2010s. Now, not to say there wasn't comic books, obviously go back to the mid-20th century, and there were some comic book movies earlier than that, but it was the case that they were a little bit different. It wasn't as popular a thing which dominated the media landscape as much. And it was the case that a number of the comic book movies, you think of like the Christopher Nolan Batmans, for instance, were made to be this more sort of gritty, grimy realism. And there's still some movies that are made in that kind of image. But there's definitely been a model in the movie world, of returning more to the sort of pulpy, fantastic things that are emphasizing the sort of otherworldliness, the superhumanness of these gods, these comic book superheroes. And I do think that in some ways it is related to the fact that so many of us are feeling that we are in more and more of a feudal society, in that we are more and more subject to the whims of the very powerful and sort of helpless to actually have any fairness in the world.